My dear Sir, your private letters of the 24th and 25th instant have been received, and you will learn by the official letter of this date my determination of returning to Philadelphia after Monday, if nothing in the interim casts up to render it unnecessary. I am excited to this resolution by the violent and extraordinary proceedings which have and are about taking place in the northern parts of the Union, and may be expected in the southern, because I think that the memorial, the ratification, and the instructions which are framing, are of such vast magnitude as not only to require great individual consideration, but a solemn conjunct revision. The latter could not happen if you were to come to this place, nor would there be that source of information to be had as is to be found at and is continually flowing to the seat of government. And besides, in the course of deliberating on these great matters, the examination of official papers may more than probable be found essential, and these could be resorted to nowhere else. To leave home so soon will be inconvenient. A month hence would have been otherwise, and was, as I hinted to you before I left the city, in contemplation by me for the purpose of Mrs. Washington's remaining here until November, when I intended to come back for her. But whilst I am in office, I shall never suffer private convenience to interfere with what I conceive to be my official duties. I view the opposition which the treaty is receiving from the meetings in different parts of the Union in a very serious light. Not because there is more weight in any of the objections which are made to it than were foreseen at first, for there are none in some of them, and gross misrepresentations in others, nor as it respects myself personally, for this shall have no influence on my conduct. Plainly perceiving, and I am accordingly preparing my mind for, the obloquy which disappointment and malice are collecting to heap upon my character. But I am alarmed on account of the effect it may have on, and the advantage the French government may be disposed to make of, the spirit which is at work, to cherish a belief in them that the treaty is calculated to favor Great Britain at their expense. Whether they believe or disbelieve these tales, the effect it will have upon the nation will be nearly the same. For whilst they are at war with that power, or so long as the animosity between the two nations exists, it will, no matter at whose expense, be their policy, and it is feared it will be their conduct, to prevent us from being on good terms with Great Britain, or from her deriving any advantages from our commerce which they can prevent, however much we can be benefited thereby ourselves. To what length this policy and interest may carry them is problematical, but when they see the people of this country divided, and such a violent opposition given to the measures of their own government, pretendedly in their favor, it may be extremely embarrassing, to say no more of it. To sum up the whole in a few words, I have never, since I have been in the administration of the government, seen a crisis which, in my judgment, has been so pregnant of interesting events, nor one from which more is to be apprehended, whether viewed on one side or the other. From New York there now is, and I am told will further be, a countercurrent. But how formidable it may appear, I know not. If the same does not take place at London and other towns, it will afford but too strong evidence that the opposition is, in a manner, universal, or that those of different sentiments are supine or intimidated, which would make the ratification a very serious business indeed. But as it respects the French, even counter-resolutions would, for the reasons I have already given, do little more than weaken in a small degree the effect those of the other complexion would have. I have written and do now enclose the letter, the draft of which was approved by the heads of departments and the Attorney General, to the select men of the town of Boston. But if new lights have been shed upon the subject since it was agreed to, or if upon reconsideration any alteration should be deemed necessary, it being opened for your perusal, I request you to detain it until I see you. Let me also request that the same attention may be given to the draft of a letter to Portsmouth, and to the Chamber of Commerce at New York, as was recommended on that occasion. With sincere esteem, etc. P.S. To the papers sent, I add Chancellor Livingston's letter, and wish, if it is best to give it an answer, that one may be prepared. Although this letter is hurried, for Mr. Danbridge is not yet arrived and I have no assistance, as well as a private one, I have no objection to the confidential officers seeing it, and wish them to prepare their minds on the several subjects mentioned therein against I arrive.